Well, this one was somewhat expected. William's father is an overbearing parent who thrusts his own insecurities and ideals onto his children. Poor William. Poor William. Chapter 67, titled Weary William, comes out on November 9th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you don't use spoilers for your FastPass coins, come back in about a month. You got some time to kill, as this is your only spoiler warning. Go listen to the 24 OST on Sophism's YouTube channel. In the meantime, like and subscribe for weekly Purple Hyacinth chapter reviews, and I will try to have a video out next week on William. Kind of, sort of, but I'm a little hesitant since we're getting a lot more William in this chapter, so I don't know yet. As always, skip around to whatever section you fancy, as the timeline is broken up into sections for you already. Now, let's begin. As I was reading this chapter, I was struck by how Lauren's relationship with Tristan was juxtaposed with William's relationship with his father. I'll definitely be going more into this later on in the review. Father Hawk's mansion is pretty beautiful. The mahogany and the rugs, it exudes luxury and prestige, as to be expected for the former chief of the APD and the former general of the Royal Army. William's mother looks ill, and it's so striking when we see the flashback near the end of the episode about wanting to attend William's wedding, which obviously his mother is not going to make it that far to see it happen. It looks like the beginning of the diagnosis or whatever she has. A lot of people predict that William's father is the one that causing his wife to have this illness. I don't know. Maybe. It could be possible. It seems like the diagnosis is a little bit of dementia plus muscular atrophy caused by something we don't really get too much from it. There's also a chance that the father is lying about the 2 to 3 month time limit on his wife, as I do highly believe that there's some lies thrown in, but since Lauren isn't here, we don't really know for sure. Father's stoic attitude towards his wife makes it seem like he's already internalized her loss, as someone without their memories could be argued that they're not the same person, right? Now obviously that's a messed up way of looking at it, but something father would probably do. William goes the complete opposite route of playing the role of his older brother, Rafael, for his mother, and Rafael most likely was at the Annandale train bombing, probably in the place of his father, who should have been there as chief of the APD back then. But we know father is still alive and doing just fine, so his oldest son took his place for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe that's why there's so much pressure on William to carry the burden of his brother as well. I don't know how William kind of deals with all these stressors like these, because I'm impressed that we haven't seen William break until recently, pretending to be someone he's not, hoping to be free from the restraints of his life that are imposed on him, walking around like a marionette doll, where his father, his brother, and his mother all pull the strings for him to walk around every day, poised and with a smile. A lot of emphasis on hands for William, as the most obvious was the piano scene near the end of the episode, but we started seeing it after William says he doesn't want to let his mother go, with the Arthur fist as he braces himself to see his mother, closing the blinds, and finally that piano scene. This sequence reminded me of Lauren's boxing scene. I believe it was 44, maybe 45, sometime after 43. And it's great to see this kind of highlight, because I've been making a lot of that. Like, William has been getting a lot of these iconic panels that we've associated with Lauren, like the vertical panel of walking, and now another rendition of that boxing sequence where we see more of what William has to go through. Rafael is probably the one that taught him the piano and why he goes to it with such an embrace. Is Apollo Rafael? I don't think so, as it's too obvious of a connection, but I do believe that if there's a fight with the circus crew, Apollo versus Will would be a good matchup, as both characters use the piano as a coping mechanism. The water reflection of Will slumped over the piano is chillingly similar to Kim's last panel in 64, where she teeters on the wall that she walks on after leaving William's place. William's father is so against failure that we know exactly how he feels when William tries to justify his relationship with Lauren, that he doesn't care what the precinct thinks of Lauren, as once a disappointment, always a disappointment. We see the difference in atmosphere in the Sinclair house versus the Hawks house, as Tristan and Lauren sit right next to each other for their breakfast, while father and William are on opposite ends, elongating the distance between them to the extreme. Now, the tension in 47 between Uncle and Lauren was palpable, as he was somewhat fishing for answers. But even back in as early as season 1, I don't remember which chapter exactly, but Uncle says that he can help Lauren get her position back as detective, but she declines respectfully because she wants it with her own merit, while father just seems to hand the promotions to William to further push the esteem of the Hawks family name. Also, I have a more clearer picture of William because I didn't know he was He just became a lieutenant a couple months ago, a little before the story started. And he actually failed his first exam, which we don't really know the context behind it or why he failed, but it was the only mistake that he made and the one that his father has been holding over his head for quite some time. I know I've been a little critical of William since he doesn't really fit the role of lieutenant until the start of season 2, honestly, as he's been more commanding of his officers with more vigor, especially by sending Lauren to the nurses and sidelining her for her own safety. But now with this information, it's understandable since he hasn't had this job for too long. A lot of questions. The third top comment by Asoyako, I'm probably butchering that, sorry, but where they ask if Hawks knows about Loon, or father knows about Loon. We know that he's been going to meetings and whatnot, so it's pretty plausible that he has plenty of contacts still in the APD, and it's not unlikely that he wouldn't know about Loon. I love all the character development on William because he hadn't had much in season 1, and I'm excited to see more from him and Kim in the coming chapters. That's all for the video. Thank you so much for listening up to this point. As always, make sure to heart the chapter when you finish reading and comment to be part of the community. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this sort of stuff. My social media can be found by searching Inspirational on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Shout out to my designer. You can find his work on Instagram. See you all next time.